The Power of Saying No. Reclaiming Your Time. Part 1. The Overcommitted Life. Emily Chen had always been the reliable one. At the marketing agency where she worked, she was known as the yes person, the one who stayed late to finish presentations, volunteered to organize company events, and took on extra tasks even when her calendar was already overflowing. Among friends and family, she was the dependable listener, the planner of gatherings, the one who always answered calls, no matter the hour. It felt good to be needed. But by the time Emily turned 30, the weight of her endless obligations had begun to crush her. Her once vibrant mornings had become rushed and filled with dread. Weekends, once sacred for rest, were now consumed by favors she didn't remember agreeing to: dog-sitting, proofreading resumes, helping acquaintances move. Sleep-deprived and perpetually anxious, Emily stared at the blinking cursor on her laptop late one Tuesday night. Her supervisor had just emailed asking if she could take over a colleague's presentation. Again. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard. She started typing, "Sure, happy to help." But this time, something stopped her. She glanced at her planner color-coded chaos. Every box filled, every hour accounted for. The thought struck her like lightning. When was the last time I did something just for me? Her finger hit the backspace key, slowly, deliberately. "No," she whispered aloud, heart pounding. It was just a word, but it felt like a rebellion. She took a deep breath and began again. "Hi, Marcus. I'm currently at full capacity with existing projects and won't be able to take this on. I'm happy to help brainstorm once I free up later this week." She stared at the message. It was polite, professional, clear. She hit send. And just like that, something shifted. Part 2. Learning the Language of No. Saying no wasn't a skill Emily had ever learned. Growing up in a household where harmony was prized over honesty, she had been trained to accommodate. Her parents, both immigrants from Taiwan, emphasized respect and responsibility. Saying no, even to unreasonable demands, felt like defiance, a risk to relationships and reputation. But burnout had taught her that saying yes to everything was not sustainable. She started small. When a coworker asked her to join a last-minute brainstorming session during her lunch break, she smiled and replied, "I'm stepping out to recharge for a bit. Let's connect afterward." No apologies, no over-explaining. To her surprise, no one got angry. In fact, many responded with understanding, some even with respect. Emily began researching assertive communication. She discovered that saying no didn't have to be harsh or selfish. It was a boundary, not a wall. She learned phrases like, "I appreciate the offer, but I'm not available." "That sounds interesting, but I have to pass this time." "I'm focusing on a few priorities right now and can't take anything new on." Each time she used one, she felt a little more powerful, a little more free. Part 3. The Pushback and the Guilt. At first, Emily's new habit of saying no felt liberating, almost like a superpower. Her calendar was finally breathing, her evenings slowly opening up. And she even found time to revisit hobbies she had long abandoned, like watercolor painting and reading novels. But the euphoria didn't last forever. One Friday afternoon, her friend Sarah called. "Hey, I need a huge favor," she said, voice frantic. "Can you help me run the charity bake sale tomorrow morning? My partner backed out, and I'm short-handed." Emily had planned a quiet Saturday, her first in months. A yoga class, a walk by the lake, and maybe just doing nothing. Her soul craved the stillness, but her brain screamed guilt. "You've helped before. You always help," Sarah added, as if reading her thoughts. Emily swallowed. Her fingers trembled slightly as she responded, "I'm really sorry, Sarah, but I've already blocked tomorrow off to rest. I won't be able to make it." There was a long pause. "Oh, okay," Sarah replied, her voice cool and a little clipped. "I guess I'll figure it out." After the call ended, Emily felt the familiar pit in her stomach. Was I selfish? Did I disappoint her? Later that evening, she replayed the conversation in her head as guilt wrapped around her like a blanket. But she also noticed something else. Beneath the discomfort was a strange sense of self-respect. She had honored her own time, her own need for rest. That night she journaled, "Why do I feel like I owe everyone my energy?" Saying no is not a betrayal, it's a commitment to myself. The next few weeks brought more of these uncomfortable moments. A neighbor she barely knew asked if she could babysit on short notice. A distant cousin invited her to help plan a family reunion. Her boss hinted at a volunteer weekend for a new client. Each time, Emily practiced the same steps. Pause and breathe. Acknowledge the request with kindness. Respectfully decline without apology. Some people understood, others didn't. Some pushed back with guilt, disappointment, or subtle withdrawal. And that hurt. But slowly, Emily began to see a deeper truth. People's disappointment was not her responsibility. Their feelings were valid, but so were her boundaries. Part 4. The Time Reclaimed. 3 months after Emily began her journey of saying no, her life looked radically different. Her mornings were no longer a mad dash of emails and commitments. She started waking up with a sense of calm journaling with a cup of green tea, taking short walks in the park, and even making time for meditation. Her weekends had transformed into space for joy, brunch with close friends, spontaneous hikes, quiet afternoons lost in books. Her productivity at work hadn't declined, it had skyrocketed. By taking on fewer tasks, she had more energy to focus deeply on the ones that truly mattered. Her boss noticed. "You're sharper these days," he told her in a one-on-one. "I'd rather have you working on one campaign at 100% than 3 at 60%. More importantly, Emily began to rediscover herself. Not the overextended version that had been stretched thin for years, but the version who dreamed, created, and breathed. She picked up painting again and even submitted 2 pieces to a local art show. On Friday evenings, she volunteered at a community center, not out of guilt, but genuine desire. Every yes she gave now came from a place of intention, not obligation. One evening, as she organized her planner for the month, Emily noticed something remarkable. White space. Not every box was filled. Not every day was stacked. There was room for spontaneity, for silence, for simply being. And in that space, her joy returned. Part 5. Helping others say no. It was during lunch with her co-worker Maya that Emily realized the ripple effect of her new philosophy. "I don't know how you do it," Maya confessed, poking at her salad. "I'm drowning. Between work, my kids' school, and volunteering, I haven't had a full night's sleep in weeks." Emily nodded. understanding all too well. "Can I ask something?" Maya continued. "How do you say no without feeling like a terrible person?" Emily smiled. "I used to feel that way too, but then I realized every time I say yes to something I don't want to do, I'm saying no to something I truly value: my health, my peace, my time." Maya looked stunned. "I never thought of it that way." "Try this," Emily offered. "Next time someone asks for your time, pause before answering. Ask yourself, do I have the energy for this? Is it aligned with what matters to me right now? And if the answer's no, be kind but firm." She scribbled a few phrases on a napkin. "I'm honored you thought of me, but I'm not available. That sounds great, but I have other priorities at the moment. I'm taking some time for myself, so I'll have to decline." Maya read them over, then looked up with wide eyes. "You're a genius." "I'm just recovering," Emily laughed. As word spread, others began to approach her: two colleagues, friends, even her younger cousin navigating university burnout. Emily began writing blog posts about her experience, eventually launching a small newsletter, Boundaries and Breathing Room. To her surprise, hundreds of subscribers joined within months. Her message resonated in a world drowning in overcommitment. She wasn't just saving her own time anymore. She was helping others reclaim theirs. Epilogue: The New Yes. A year after her first deliberate no, Emily stood in front of a small audience at a wellness retreat, delivering a talk titled The Power of No: How Saying Less Can Give You More. She looked around at the faces, tired, hopeful, curious. "I used to think that saying yes made me a good person," she said, voice steady. "But what I've learned is that saying no with honesty and kindness is one of the most generous things we can do. It's how we show up fully present. It's how we protect what matters." After the talk, a woman approached her with tears in her eyes. "I haven't had a day to myself in 5 years," she whispered. "Thank you for reminding me it's okay to want that." Emily smiled, placing a gentle hand on the woman's shoulder. "You're allowed to take up space. You're allowed to rest. Start small, one no at a time." As the retreat ended and Emily walked outside into the crisp golden sunlight, her phone buzzed with a new message. "Hey, can you help with—" She didn't even read the rest before smiling. This time, she didn't feel guilty. She felt free. And she replied with a short, simple truth. "Thanks for thinking of me, but I'll have to pass." Then, she tucked the phone away, turned toward the woods, and started walking each step light, her time her own again.